Hello and welcome once again to Talford. It's the middle of summer at the moment, and in truth the training room is really warm. So I've been up there doing a few bits and pieces, but in reality I think I'm probably going to hold off doing too much until probably things start to cool down a little bit more. But I wanted to share a video with you because I'm conscious it's a while since I put anything up. So something a little bit different today, which I hope you'll find interesting. Now, a few weeks ago I took delivery of one of these HST train packs, the Hornby Class 43, and this is the Old Oak Common Limited Edition. I thought I had enough HST packs, but turns out I was wrong, because when I saw this come out I thought, yeah, definitely gotta go for it. But today isn't actually about reviewing the Hornby HST. There's loads of videos out there on YouTube of people that have given it a really good, thorough review. But I would say, if you can still get hold of one and you're thinking about getting one, it's a stunning model and worthwhile doing. But one of the issues with buying an HST, for me at least, is that it's always, I like having sound in my locos, and that would set me back a fair few quid. So I thought I'd try something slightly different. Now, in a recent copy of Rail Express, and by the way, if you don't read Rail Express and if you're into the modern scene, I'd say it's well worth having a look at. Really good alternative to to model rail and BRM and that kind of thing. But one of the articles in the magazine was a review of the Hornby TTS Sound fitted Class 60. I have used TTS in the past and I think it's pretty good, but the whole point of this article was to highlight a new selection of speakers from Rail Exclusive, which they claim will bring better sound. So essentially I've bought myself a twin pack of the TTS decoders. I got them on eBay for about 50-60 quid, but I've also gone and purchased two of the Rail Exclusive Baby Boomer speakers, which I got from Coastal DCC, which is where I get my sound from. So really this video is all about, I'm going to fit one of the HST power cars just with the regular TTS decoder. Then I'm going to switch the speakers for the Rail Exclusive and just do a bit of a comparison really, and see what you guys think. It should be plain sailing, fingers crossed. Anyway, let's get on. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is fit the TTS decoder into the unpowered power car. Inside the TTS box, what you get is a set of instructions, which includes details of the various functions that are available. You then get the chip with a standard 8-pin connector, which of course for Hornby is fairly standard, and then the speaker as it is. Now, the speaker, from looking at it, it looks pretty basic. It's similar size to the sort of fairly standard speakers that you'll get on a lot of of power chips. The first thing that's obvious to me about the speakers is if I look at the Rail Exclusives speaker and compare it to the Hornby one, you can hopefully see there, this is a heck of a lot smaller than this. Now that's good news, because I know from previous experience of fitting chips to HSTs, certainly in the powered car end, there's not a huge amount of room. So having a slightly smaller speaker is good news. So I'm going to get the body off of the HST. I have to say that this is one of the easier models to remove the body. There's just four screws that go in underneath. So I'm going to get on and get the body off, and then we'll get the speaker fitted. Okay, well that was pretty straightforward. Got the 4 screws out. Next thing is to remove the blanking plate, which is again nice and straightforward there. And now it's just a case of fitting the TTS decoder, which is a fairly straightforward job. The only point to highlight here, and those of you that have done this before will know this, but it's important to ensure, in order to get the thing working correctly, that the terminal with the orange wire goes into socket number 1 on the decoder. So make sure that we've got it lined up correctly, and there we go. Just gently ease it in. Worthwhile taking your time over this. I have definitely managed to bend a couple of the prongs on the connector by being a bit hasty in the past, and that is one of those things where it's might be easy to bend the prongs. It's not easy to get them bent out back into shape and get the thing connected. So take your time. As you can see, we've got loads of room here for the speaker to fit, and that's good news because I think we're going to need it. So I'm going to get the speaker fitted. We'll get the body back on, and then let's get it up to the training room and get it programmed and see what the sound is like. Okay, so here we are on the layout, and let's start her up. Okay, well, doesn't sound bad. Let's just go through a few of the functions. Okay, well, you can't really have too many complaints with that, can you? I think the sound sounds pretty good. So let's get back downstairs and get the speaker fitted to the power car. Okay, so that was pretty good, no complaints. What we're now going to do is wire up the power car with the improved rail exclusive speaker. So first thing first, pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is cut the speaker from the original chip, and as you can see, we've got plenty of room here for wire for the to wire the two up together. So all I'm going to do is strip the wire. I'm going to solder them together, and then a piece of heat shrink over the top to keep it all nice and secure. I'm not sure I'm going to need all of this. I mean, there's a heck of a lot of wire, so I think I might probably just remove some of this as well. So I'll get on with that and get it all soldered up. Okay, so mission accomplished. We've got the speaker connected to the decoder. Took about 5 minutes, pretty straightforward really, even with my fairly rudimentary soldering skills, but did a decent job. So next thing to do is now to get the body off of the powered end of the HST and see how we get on with fixing the speaker in there. Be interesting to see how we get on from a space point of view. Anyway, let's get the body off and crack on. Okay, so we've got the body off of the power car. First thing that kind of dawns on you, of course, is just how much less room there is on this unit than is the case on the unpowered unit. So we need to be a bit smarter about how we do things. This end of the loco obviously is where the speaker and the chip will need to go. My slight concern is about fouling with the drive mechanism here, but there's two things that have jumped out at me. Firstly, this end unit here is completely free, and actually the speaker fits in there absolutely perfectly without without fouling the end of the drive unit, so that's really good. Second thing is that the housing unit from the original TTS decoder will just fit in perfectly into above the drive unit, which will then provide a cradle for the chip and the wires, so that will actually stop any of the wires from fouling in the drive mechanism. So this is looking pretty good so far. Let me crack on and get this fitted and show you the finished result. First thing I'm going to do is just a little bit of black tack on the bottom of the speaker, and pop that into place just there, and that will hold the speaker very, very securely. Next up, blanking plate removed, get that out of the way, and again be mindful of which prong is number one. We'll get the decoder fitted in there. There we go. And it's simply a case, I think, of getting the wires in place, and I think I'll get a bit of tape to just tape it all down and make it really secure, and make sure that there's no danger of things getting caught up in the drive mechanism. But actually, with a bit of tape over the top there, that's going to be a pretty good and tidy job. So let me get the tape sorted out. We'll get the body back on, and we'll get this one up to the train room, and let's see how the sound compares to the original TTS. Okay, well, here we are back at the layout with the power car with a Rail Express speaker on. Let's see how this one sounds. So start her up. Okay, now I don't know how well this is picking up on the speaker, but the first thing that's obvious to me is that it's a louder sound, and I'd say more sort of bassy sounding as well, which is good. So again, let's just run through some of the functions. Yeah, that's pretty loud. Let's see how she sounds pulling away. Okay, so finally I have hooked the HST up to a couple of coaches in between, which hopefully give a slightly more realistic comparison of the sound. So we'll start them up and run them past the camera and see what you think. So here we go. I've got to tell you straight away that the powered end with the Rail exclusive speaker is sounding a lot louder than the other end. Anyway, I don't want to prejudice things too much, so let's run them past and see what you think. back again. Okay, so just powering down the engines. Couple of things. Firstly, isn't it lovely to see an HST going past? Always good. It's a shame they don't run on my line into London anymore. But secondly, I think, from my point of view at least, that kind of proves that the rail exclusive speaker has justified the work and the expense of putting it in. Well, there you go. That concludes the test. I've drawn my conclusions, and I'm sure you will have as well. The TTS, I think, as a decoder is great. As an entry-level sound decoder, it's brilliant. And you know, when you consider that you're looking 35, maybe 40 quid for one of those versus 100 plus for a more advanced decoder, I think it represents really, really good value for money. What I think I've taken though is that for the additional £10, which is what these baby boomer speakers cost, for the extra £10, I think it takes the sound just to a different level. So from my point of view, it's something that I'll definitely be buying more of these to accompany TTS decoders in the future. Anyway, I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found some useful stuff there. I'm going to get on with fitting the speaker to the second car now. In the meantime, I will post an update of Talford in the course of the next couple of weeks or so. I've been laying track and that kind of thing, but there's not a huge amount of interesting stuff there. But I will get an update through for you. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll catch you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers.